Like always, give us something controversial.
Maybe like 14, 15 on this app called Make 33. Were you on the apps in India?
I mean, at that age, we were still afraid to talk to girls, go ask them out. Yeah. We were still in that phase of life, right? So when a girl walks by in traditional wear like saris and kurtas,
Yeah.
brown boys are all over the floor.
Welcome to episode 2 of Pura Kura. Manju, Yasmin, Vishal. But today we have a new guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Navaneeth. I'm Ashwin's roommate. So originally I'm from this state in India called Kerala. Here, just like every other brown person in Asia, I'm a software engineer.
I'm not a software engineer.
I am.
Neither is Vishal. In today's episode, you are here for a very exciting episode because our topic today is dating and relationships. I'm gonna start by just asking about dating experiences of our guest today.
Okay.
So, we'll start from him. I want to know, what was it like? So start us by telling like when you came to the US, and then what was dating like in India versus what was it like here?
I only had one relationship in India. 3 months, 90 days. It was in college. We rarely met. We met like twice in that time too. And I was like 21, so this was like a really immature phase. So I don't think I'd consider that a relationship. And by the time the second one was rolling in, I left the country. I literally told her, I'm literally leaving the country in 2 days. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be working there. I might not even be coming back. This long distance right from the get go never works out. So let's not do this. She kept pursuing me for a while after that, but then eventually she stopped. She also moved somewhere abroad, and that was that. So not much dating experience.
You left before season 2 of 90 Day Fiancé. When was this? What year?
This was when I was in third year of my university, undergrad. So I met this girl at the French birthday party.
Okay.
Sent her a message in Messenger, but that Messenger was very famous.
Like WhatsApp.
No, WhatsApp was there, but I didn't have a phone number.
Yeah. So your third year of university, what year is that? 1990?
2017. 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
And when did you come to the US?
So I came to the US next year, 2018.
Okay.
As soon as I finished my undergrad, I came here to pursue my master's, and I've been here since then.
What was your dating life after you came to the US? Like, wait on the
We
apps?
definitely had some good fun.
No, I wasn't on the apps. And there was no time at all. There's no time, there's no money, right?
Yeah.
You're basically living on converted money.
Yeah.
You're not earning it. And I took an education loan. So yeah, when you have like limited money, you don't have money to like take a girl out to a nice dinner or whatever, right? So I did not really get on the apps.
What city was this?
This was LA of all places, right?
Well,
And then finally I met somebody. Then I got on the apps and I met somebody on the app. That relationship went on for a while. And that ended. And
How long?
year and a half. That went for a year and a half. That ended, and now I've been in one for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Or thereabouts.
I was waiting for you to get to that. I want to know like how that started.
Which one?
The one like
Well, that's a valid
relationship that you're in now.
I mean, there are two, so I can say which one technically. No. Which one? Asking you. The year and a half one or the latest.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Right? From the, yeah, the year and a half.
That was, I met her on Bumble. Uh, matched with her. I don't know. I'm not very clever in setting up dating app profiles. Uh, just a simple profile. I think she liked it back then, and then we started talking. It was a rocky start. Um, she was also apparently talking to somebody else at the time, and that guy was ghosting her, so she was having some issues. And she was also very busy. She was doing her masters, so between all of this, timing was an issue. So it was a rocky start, but eventually it kind of worked out. I guess I was also the time like it's also the time when you're trying to get into a relationship, like you don't want to be single. So you also put an extra effort and you tend to adjust a lot more to try and make it work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. Yeah, went for a year. It ran its course, but in the end, like things were not lining up. So we had to part ways.
Yeah. I wanna ask.
Yeah.
Vishal, because Vishal also you also lived in India, right?
Yeah.
For your undergrad.
Correct.
Were you on the apps in India?
No. Again, no. Like in India, undergrad is like very different experience than over here. Like we're still kids in undergrad there. Like we have completely different mindset with like
The apps a thing.
I don't know.
Hinge wasn't there.
Yeah.
Hinge didn't exist.
Yeah.
Bumble, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe Tinder was there.
I mean, at that age, we were still afraid to talk to girls, go ask them.
Yeah.
We were still in that phase of life. Like it's completely different than it's over here.
Tell me more about like why that mindset. Why? Because me and Ishwan, we both grew up kind of here, right? So we're kind of used to what dating looks like here. But I want to know like what, because people date a lot in the undergrad here, right? I think that's when people date the most here. But I want to know like why it's so different in India.
I think everybody's again focused on getting job, completing their studies. I don't know what
Culture.
the culture. Yeah. Okay.
So in the US, dating, how you find a partner in general is you date somebody, you get the relationship, maybe moves into a living or whatever, and eventually you get married. That's how it goes here.
Yeah.
In India or South Asian countries, your parents typically find a person for you, and you first marry, then fall in love, and all of that happens. So dating is never I guess, a priority, or it's not considered part of the culture.
Okay.
Has that
You not die alone in South Asian.
Yeah,
The parents are there to make sure that you're not gonna die alone.
I think that's what I need to do now. Move back. But like I wanna know, has that changed for you, like mindset wise, after you moved here?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
but I never had that much. Like
Yeah.
that's a
That's
gender
the-
cultural thing. But for me, always in my mind, like I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna date X number of people, and then I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna date 100 people. I'll cross the 37th percentile, and then I'll be like, find the best person afterwards. I'm not trying to optimize a math solution here. So I'm like, that's not what I wanted. But I wasn't ever going for an arranged marriage either. Like I couldn't like just fall in love with the person. My parents were just fine. That wasn't me either.
So you always wanted to marry someone you like.
Always, yeah. Always want to marry someone I find I like,
Yeah.
who matched my values more than, because ultimately at the end of the day, you have to live with that person. So your values have to match with the person, not the family, culture, society. It's all fine, but after an extent, none of that matters.
That's very interesting. I want to ask Ace on something
Yeah.
because I feel like you can never tell what you think on topics like this. So imagine like a completely hypothetical situation. Let's say let's say you're not dating anyone, right? Let's say you're like, I don't know, at a certain age where you're single.
Okay.
Would you be open to arranged marriage?
I don't think so. For me, I've never thought about arranged marriage in some way. I was like, maybe if I don't find it, maybe I'll have to do it. But my thought was always find someone who was compatible with,
Yeah.
like not just in terms of like love or finding whatever, right? It's emotionally like
Mm.
everything, right? So yeah, for me, I think I'm a hopeless romantic
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's say like it doesn't work out, right?
Okay.
Like, let's say in a hypothetical situation, it never works out. You're like, I don't know, 30 plus.
Uh-huh.
You're single. Your parents are saying like, let us find someone for you. Would you be open to it?
Maybe not. Maybe I'll still try to find someone that I like.
Okay.
And let's say if it's too late, then it could have been an option. That's what one of my friends
Okay.
say. But I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I think.
But luckily I have someone.
Right.
But I've been dating for a while.
Yeah.
But really?
Yeah, we've all seen the decor in your room. You said a lot about like compatibility, like someone that you really like. So when dating, do you have certain must-haves? What are them? Like name like one or two things that anyone you would consider dating must have.
She must be a philosopher fan.
Is that your answer? Or like,
Well, maybe 2-3 years. Like before, I would have said maybe, but now I'm like, this is a hot take. I don't want to get into it. It's
What's the name of our podcast? Do you know what it means?
It means
You gotta give us something.
Pura, right? Yeah. So I mean, for me, going back to the question, there are things that the person must have. It's I think something that's opposite to me. I'm a more quiet person, and I look for someone who is loud, but completely opposite of me. Like brings the whole room together, lightens up the mood for everyone. And yeah, and another thing is like emotionally available. Well, physical aspect is almost there, but I mean, I think I look for someone who's like more emotionally available too. So that's two criteria at the start. But yeah, then
Yeah, so you need someone who's gonna yell at the server when your order is wrong. Because you're not gonna do it yourself. Right?
um, I don't try to find that person, but somehow I have someone who does that for me. Yes.
This sounds like I heard Taylor Swift.
So is that a criteria?
We know your criteria.
In your life, trying to find concert tickets but never find it.
Like we know what you want. Give us your red flags.
Okay. So my biggest red flag.
Not a Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah, what is that? That's a silent red flag. So my biggest red flag would be not respecting your elders or your parents. I mean, that is a very, very big thing to me. Um, if you're not respectful to your elder, your parents, if you can't understand social cues, that's another big red flag to me. Other than that,
Are you talking about a specific person?
we're not.
I'm kidding.
Other than that, I don't think so I have any other red flags. As you grow with the person, as the relationship grows, I think everything can be fixed. Over time, these things, I guess. I don't know. I think this can be fixed too, but I don't have any criteria as such. It's just the vibe. If I get with the other person vibe, then everything's. And that's all I care.
Yeah. So all the single ladies that are listening, he can fix you. Instagram, link in the description.
Yeah, I have time already.
Okay.
Okay, but that's how it's so wrong.
For fixing. Fixing.
All right. I wanna ask you.
Yeah.
You've done your 90-day fiance thing in India. You've done it. You've done it twice here, right? You're still doing it. Uh, do you feel like there's big cultural differences when it comes to dating in India versus US? And I'm not talking about like, people's mindset. I'm talking about like what girls are like here. And like, did you feel like you have ever had to like change yourself or, like adjust to certain cultural nuances that is expected here?
Well, I have only dated brown people here too, so they also
Okay.
from India, so the culture kind of matches. So I don't think there's much of a difference. And I don't believe in one thing I've learned from my experience is if you're dating, just be genuine, be yourself.
Yeah.
You can only pretend for so long. And eventually that gets exhausting and you can't sustain it. So don't pretending never works. So just be genuine. Whoever you are, just be yourself. If that person is right for you, it is. If it's not anyway.
Yeah.
There's no point. So yeah, I didn't find any cultural differences because all the people that I meet here are the same people who grew up in India or who grew up in an Indian household and then came here to study and pursue their careers. So I personally didn't find
Yeah.
really.
Is that a big thing with all of you? I mean, culture, is that a big thing?
Not for me.
No.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, but so I do want to hear something about it. So yeah, I want to know more about your dating life, right?
I'm pretending to be the
His answer, well, we've not asked him much. They don't know anything about his
Let me ask you.
dating life is boring.
Let me ask you.
as far as I know.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not.
fine.
It's not.
Maybe on the hotspot.
Okay, let's do it.
So okay, now we're talking about red flags, green flags, all that stuff, right? Yeah. Okay, then let me plant the scene here first. You go out on date with a girl,
Yeah.
and she does something,
Something.
and then you think that okay, I'm not gonna go on second date. So
Yeah.
what would be that?
I don't have like a rule book, but I've had that feeling where I know like the values don't align. So there are certain things that are important to me, and if I get hints that they're on the complete opposite spectrum when it comes to those values, then I feel like it's not going to be a match, right? For example, like it's the little things. It's a combination of some things that you said, like you talked a little bit about if they need to respect people. To me, the word I think of is kindness. I want to date people who are rude to servers in a restaurant, or I don't want to date people. This is a weird thing to say, but I don't want to date people who have like strong negative feelings towards unhoused people in the street. Right? It's the little things like, I want to see that kindness and I want to see a bit of, like you said a little bit about being authentic. I learned this like rule from one of my exes, the 3-month rule. Like you never really know. You don't 90 days. You don't truly know a person until you've been with them for 90 days. So I know like during the first date, there are certain things about a person that might just come out of nervousness or could be like, they're, trying too hard. So I usually like give people more time. That's just me. So like very few things, like it has to be like very extreme things if I like definitely don't want to go on a second date. Does that make sense?
Unless until somebody is not a Trump fan, you're
That's the summary. Like if you had a Trump fan, I'm sorry. Unavailable. You can talk to Bisaf.
6 number. I'm going to go to fixing.
So, I do want to ask one more question. It's like
To me?
more, yes. It's on the cultural thing, right? So, yeah. They talked about like their life in India,
Yeah.
like dating life in India versus here and all that.
Yeah.
Now, since you and I both have in Nepal,
Yeah.
Right. And he's also in Nepal. But
Yeah.
I mean, we did our undergrad.
He lost the status.
Yeah.
But I mean, how has dating life been different? I mean, we were back kids back in Nepal, but like, how has the dating culture felt? Is it the same? Is it different? How do you?
Yeah, good question. It's a tough question to answer. Definitely different in terms of mentality, but I also feel like a lot of that is also an age factor. Because obviously, when I was dating in Nepal, I was like 15, 16, 17, right?
yeah, it's also
Right, like, we had to use the landline. I had to fax them like long.
Approving pager.
Yeah. No. Pizza came out months later. Yeah, I just like reasons to send my love letter. Months different, right? But I feel like it's also, I was dating in Kathmandu, big city in Nepal, so maybe much more westernized than many parts of Nepal, right? So maybe like not that different from a mindset perspective of people, because like you probably know as well, like people there, they watch a lot of Western TV. They like I think like by the time we were that age, it was already a big part. So people like social media was already a big thing. So I think like mindset wise, not much different, but there were certain things like I think when I was dating in Nepal, like people were always trying to hide their relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
can't have parents finding out, or can't be walking together in your like home neighborhood, right? Like in your schools, right? You have to be careful about certain things, and like there was also a strong taboo, like maybe sex comes months later, right? um, when I came here, I think that changed progressively, right? Just because of expectations, right? Like nobody cares if you're making out on the street here. So towards the beginning, like those kind of subtle differences, but
I think you can make out on the street, people still look down on you and love to this. Like, come.
I mean, like,
Yeah, they can look, but nobody.
yeah, no one's gonna like,
But then you have your aunties, uncles, they're in the community, they're faster than you.
yeah, like you'll definitely get stronger looks in Kathmandu than you do here, right?
Where Cold War is happening.
So, like, to answer your question, just like subtle nuances, right? But I think at the end of the day, to me, it's just people, right? People in Nepal are also like a complex tesseract of different emotions, right? Different experiences, different lived moments, right? That build them into what they are, and that's the same for people here as well. So when you really connect on a different level when you're already dating, I think like at the end of the day, it's just people to me. So I didn't feel like a strong difference. That yeah.
Nice.
Okay, like I mean, again, we talked about the culture stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But there's this thing that I've seen about all the South Asian, like brown boys, right? So when a girl walks by in traditional wear, like saris and kurtas,
Yeah.
brown boys are all over the floor. Why is that? They just look
They just look really pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They just look good. It's
They
like,
just look good. And then you don't get to, and you don't see them wearing that all that often.
Yeah.
It's not the most comfortable, so people don't wear it. So when you, on the rare chances that you see them, it looks good on them. People like admire that probably.
yeah. Does that answer satisfy you?
Yeah. What can you do?
Like we gave
Oh,
our.
it's the same. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they just look good.
Yeah,
Like,
just look.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, women, for your effort. I know you're not doing it for us, but we definitely appreciate it. But Bisal, I want to know, like, a list of everyone you've dated. What ethnicity they're from? What are your different experiences? Like, do you have a type?
I do not have a type.
Yeah.
I don't have a type. Again, like, as I said, like it's just the vibe that I look for.
Right.
If the vibe matches, she's my type.
Define like
The vibe, okay, so vibe could be common interests. Suppose if I listen to certain kind of music, she also listens to that kind of music. That is yes.
Yeah. If you Taylor Swift, Donald Trump.
Guys, we're just joking. And that would be amazing. Republican, white, watch. I'm not that other.
Have you dated non-Nepali people?
I have not.
You have not?
You have not.
Okay. Is that by choice or?
That's somehow.
Or result of circumstances?
I would say yes. Result of circumstances. Unavoidable circumstances. Wait, what was the question again? Sorry, I got carried away.
Have you dated non-Nepali people?
No, not yet. But I would be open to. I mean, I'm not limiting myself to only like brown people.
Okay.
So yeah, I would be open to. I haven't, but I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah. What about
the vibe matches more if they have similar cultural background.
Yeah, of course, 100%. I think everybody has felt that here. Because like from the same culture, we grew up doing the same things. We eat the same food. So obviously it's gonna be. I mean, I know you.
It's not necessarily different opinion. It's just different phases of my life. I felt differently about this thing.
I mean, let me put it this way. It's gonna be easier to match the vibe. So yeah.
I think, like, I've been in relationships with non-Nepali people where I've felt stronger connections as well. But yeah, I agree. I think like my strongest relationships were with Nepali people. It's just language, culture, certain things. But I would say definitely much more stronger if they also live in the US or have lived in the US for a certain period of time. Kind of like, I don't know. That's just my experience. It's not like a rule book for me. I would say like, I think like you can still have a very good, very strong connection with someone who's not Nepali. I think most relationships thrive because you are able to listen to each other and communicate that well. And for me, I enjoy that part of a relationship. So to me, like I've really enjoyed like dating people outside of my culture as well, and I felt like good connection there as well. So in my experience, I wouldn't like moving forward, like when I'm dating someone, that's why I don't necessarily look for Nepali people, right? I would like definitely date Nepali people, right? But I'm saying I don't necessarily like I don't use that filter on apps.
Okay. So okay, now I do also want to talk about this, and it's love languages, right? Because when first time like somebody asked me what's your love language, I said English. I mean that is not the right. And what French is not right.
Mine is touch for the first time.
Okay.
What are the different types though?
So it's gonna be quality time, words of affirmation,
Okay,
acts of service,
okay.
Physical touch.
What affirmation is like I've grown up in a community or like in family where affirmation is not given direct, right? So I want to give it, but it doesn't come out right, or I can't say to the like my partner the direct. I just tell it to the people I meet. Like I've talked to you about like they comment I love my partner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or all this, but
Like 3 a.m.
but it's just that like I don't tell you this stuff because for me it's really hard. Like I'm really proud of it, but I don't say I'm really proud of it. It doesn't come out right. Like this is something I can't do. I think I just grew up with it, and I'm trying to learn that. And I feel good when someone gives it to me.
I was gonna say, if you really want it from her, what you can provide.
I mean,
words and affirmations.
that's kind of selfish, If I can provide,
But like you can still.
I mean, yes, I.
His desires.
Yeah, I mean, she does give it. It's not like she does. So hers is act of service for love.
Mm.
So it works out.
Yes.
And
I think it's more of even a like brown thing that words of affirmation is like. I mean, how many times have you said to your dad that I love you, or your brother, or like whoever? Like the words of
Not really a thing.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's undisputed.
it's like it's expected of greatness is expected of you.
yeah, yeah.
So and failure is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So achieving success is the norm. So there is no affirmation.
I think their love language
Yeah.
or cheating things.
Exactly.
You know, one time I was in this weird class. I mean, it was a good class, but it was a weird exercise where the professor asked us all to call our moms and say, I love you.
It's easier with mom.
Mom, it's easier.
Does time zone come into consideration of that?
Like she's sleeping at 2. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
But statistically, yeah, I mean, all the men,
Yeah.
they have the most common love language is seen as quality time and physical touch.
Yeah.
Men don't have words of affirmation as their love language.
I think my my language is roasting each other. I love roasting. Like I love roasting and being roasted in relationships. Just like make fun of each other.
But that is a very like thin line.
Same line, right?
That's it.
I think
That's
like
When do you?
I think
right,
like I think when you are in a good relationship, you know where that line is.
You get to know the person.
But even as even as friends, right? Like I roast you guys all the time, and you guys roast me, so we know where the line is, right?
Yeah.
Unless like you guys are always mad at me. No.
Okay, I want to take some time out and say all okay, so right.
Okay. Vishal, tell me your worst first date experience.
Fortunately, I have never had worse.
Yeah. Every date you go on is like
Amazing. Stellar.
I don't.
5 stars.
Okay, so I don't talk to people for a day and then go on a date the next day. So I take my time. I try to understand the person and then I go. So we've already built a certain level of comfort. So it means like for the days. So
You're like a texter before.
I'm a bad texter.
So called FaceTime.
Yeah.
You're a FaceTime guy.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think I've had like similar thing. Like I've not gone on a date straight without talking to someone for a while. So for me, yes, I've had that level of understanding and comfort before I go to the date.
Mhm.
I think,
Boring.
yeah.
You guys are boring. He's gonna give me something spicy.
No,
I'm gonna modify that question for you. What's the thing that you enjoy the most in a relationship?
First 90 days.
Don't say sex.
no, it's the comfort in silence.
Comfort in silence.
That's what I look for. Like whenever you meet a new person, silences occasionally come up. Like when you're driving, right?
Yeah.
You're driving and you can keep talking for a while, but then silence does come up.
Yeah.
If the silence comes up and you feel the need to fill it, or she feels the need to fill it, and then there's an awkwardness there. If you can be comfortable when you're silent, then that's really, it's a good sign that you're comfortable in each other's presence. You don't have to keep talking to bring that comfort into the picture. You're comfortable just like that.
I think very good answer.
Yeah, that was very.
Very,
That's a
And very mature.
yeah, right. That's the farthest mature answer we've had.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very
You should make on what
me.
yeah.
What is the question?
I mean, either we could go with the same question. I can modify the core memory that you don't want to let go.
Mm.
And I'm talking solely based on relationship.
Yeah, I get it. I think I have these memories of like slowly falling in love with people. Remember these like feelings of slowly being obsessed with this person, paying attention to the little details, feeling butterflies in the stomach, right? Just like, like noticing very little things about each other, trying to do like these little things for each other, um, all these like little moments. I think those are very memorable, and I don't know, those are the times in my life that I've like felt a lot of excitement and energy.
And you have all the time in the world.
Yeah, for some reason, like no matter how busy you are, like when you are like in that early stages of a relationship, the honeymoon phase, right? And I'm not saying like the honeymoon phase ends and then I'm like I don't care anymore.
You're like, okay, let's go find another honeymoon.
Like
Perpetual.
I'm not saying that, but like you don't see someone and fall in love immediately, right? Usually it's like a process, right? It takes time.
Well, that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I'm glad you played, but you're not one of your exes.
Our perpetual honeymoon phase.
Yeah, perfect.
But do view our podcast, right? Let's do just exes and don't be exes. And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Please don't. I'm gonna block them right away.
Well,
Can you block people on YouTube?
I thought you were talking about fun memories.
And it was a good experience. You just have to
I wanna ask like okay, let's start with you. Do you have like a hot take in dating?
hot take. I think people are gamified it.
People are what?
Gamified it. Like,
Elaborate.
let's say I hear a lot of people complaining that, oh, I'm not finding a good relationship, or I'm not finding a good partner. But these are people who are going out on multiple dates. They have a date every Friday. And they're just churning through the entire population at this point. Like, okay, what's happening? Yeah, like, what's happening, right? It's like, thing is, you go on a date and you're like, oh, I like this person, but I'm not going to make the first move or tell anything because if I do that, then I might come off as wanted or needy and I might not get the value. So I need to preserve my value. So I'm not going to text them. By that time, either the other person moves on or eventually they forget that this person exists. It's like you're trying to play a 4D chess here. And often the person ends up losing is you because you're trying to game it. That's not how it works. Like the way I approach my relationships is I wear my heart on my sleeve. That also means that when you get hurt a lot. But if it actually turns out well, you get something great out of it.
Yeah.
So high risk, high reward. If you're not willing to risk it and you just play this game, you're not going to be happy. You're always going to be in the mindset that I'm always going to find someone better or something better. And you're half-ass it throughout and then reach a point where you just bitter and then you're complaining that, oh, I'm not finding anybody. There's nobody out there. There are good people out there. You're just crossing them off the list because you're playing a game.
He's giving all this like really meaningful meanings.
Meanwhile,
And then I go,
what's your point?
Somebody tell them you like them. Show that you like them. If they don't like you back, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's how these things are. You have to go through some pain to actually get to that someone who actually wants to be with you and build something great with them.
yeah, that's true. If they don't like you, they don't like you.
They like you.
I mean, this may not be true for Vishal because, like, how can anyone not like Vishal? But what's your hot take?
I don't really have any.
You don't have any hot take.
I think whatever I say is a hot take. I guess like that's what I felt in this podcast.
I feel like you would have hot takes. You're just not saying it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a hot take, but let me not say it.
There is something. It's just like you're not saying it.
There's a difference between a hot take and getting cancelled.
Do you have cancelable?
Moving on.
Okay. I don't know. I don't have any hot takes. Anyway, like I've been dating the same person for a while.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think I have any.
I do have one.
Break.
Pineapple on pizza is not okay.
What are you talking
What?
Pizza is not intense.
That's what the science. Like, what is
Have you been to Hawaii?
I don't eat pizza without pineapple unless it's artichokes.
artichokes?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What's your?
My hot take. I was thinking of something, but I can't remember it now. Okay, my hot take is more girls should make the first move. I feel like there are a lot of people who do, but I think majority of women I've talked to feel like the guy should make the move, especially the first move, and they expect them to be more aggressive. Like I think I saw a thread a few days ago saying like, why won't this guy make a move on me, right? And I'm like, if you like him, just go. I think like,
First one.
if a guy is insecure, right?
Yeah, that's still a game.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So I kind of like stole a subset of your answer. But like, if you like someone, just make a move. I think like a lot of guys would really appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think girls don't make the first move?
I think it's just like having conversation with a lot of friends of mine who are girls, right? Having seen that, having talked to the people I've dated and like talked about our first interactions. I think like a significant percentage of women have that expectation. And I'm not saying I've seen a lot of women who are not like that. So definitely not all women, but there's I think a big proportion of society where that is the expectation.
But why? Like, would you be able to like? I don't know. Maybe
Why it is the case? Why it is the case right now? I mean, so last time I talked to a friend of mine about this exact topic. She told me like I think it's just societal expectations that has carried over generations, and it's definitely much less now. But that was the norm like decades ago, right?
Mhm.
So it's still like there's this, men are supposed to be a certain way, women are supposed to be a certain way, right? So there's still a lot of like this societal stigma that we still see, and I know there's like a segment of the society who think that's how it's supposed to be. I strongly disagree. I think like we need to move out of this like general notion that men should be this way, women should be a certain way, or like any other gender or sexuality are expected to be this way. It's like humans are on a spectrum of a lot of different things, and we need to just like take those expectations out and act as individuals is what I think.
It's also very hard to make the first move as a guy.
Yeah.
It's very, you never know. You never know how you might come across as.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also say the same thing for women, right?
No, it's like I don't know. This is a joke. Like a guy would even talk to a tree if it approached it. So it's like as a woman, if you like a guy, it's plain and simple. Just talk to him because it's like when I don't want to generalize, but personally, I feel like you're always afraid of how you're perceived as.
Yeah.
You might like a person genuinely, but then something you might say might not come across the way you intend it to, and then they might misunderstand and label you a creep or something. It's very hard. It's not easy. So I don't know. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why.
I think the trick is to be attractive. Or
Yeah.
rich. No, I'm kidding. That's not really true.
It's like you're not ugly, bro. You're just not rich.
Just don't have a Lamborghini in the car. That's the problem.
Okay, we talked a lot about philosophies. I want to move towards the end of this podcast, but I want to be more personal because I want to know like more. I want to hear more personal stories. Like you told me us a little bit about like how you started dating, but two of you haven't told anything. So I want to know like maybe Aswan, you start like tell us something about how you started dating the person you're dating right now, or like what really attracted you about her.
Well, yeah.
Pick a fun story.
He's the worst.
I mean, yeah. So,
And I'm told you can't block people on YouTube.
well, yeah. I met like her through a friend. So it was funny. I was just talking to this friend of mine from school, and he had just joined that university that she was going into. And I was just talking to him, FaceTiming. And randomly, this girl comes up and she's like, "Hey, namaste." And like, how are you doing? And how's the weather up there? I'm like surprised. I'm like you said, if a guy would talk to anyone,
So seems like the first move.
I mean, kind of yes, but I mean, not in that way. It was just it was nice seeing like someone so joyful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started talking, and the first time like we FaceTime, uh, she didn't even show her whole face. She was just showing her eyes. And I was already, I think I was like, wow. It was just happened. Something unexpected, but someone who is joyful and is still joyful more than me. And you guys have met it, and you know how different she is from what I am. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question properly, but I just I just lost my track when I started speaking.
Yeah, it's a side effect of falling in love.
Questions should be definitely answered by KB. I mean,
About
he
what?
has a lot of good stories. I mean, this definitely be a good podcast ending story.
Something it's like always, give us something controversial.
Controversial.
Like last time,
Yeah, like
right? Like in our podcast last time. This time too, we want something
Ask
controversial.
me something. You guys haven't asked me anything.
Let's find something controversial.
Your first date.
My first date.
First date, as in, yeah, first date, first relationship.
Not even. Okay, I think it's hard for me to answer that because I don't know what is considered a date. Because like when you're young, like holding hands and sharing grapes is that.
No, like the first proper date that you can remember.
I started meeting girls when I was like 15, 16, maybe like 14, 15 on this app called Make 33. I don't know if you guys were ever on it, but
It's
like
our generation.
always generation.
Like back in 90s. I mean, not 1980s.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
this
back
people
in-
so you have to take
Back in the 80s, like we had to use a telegraph to use but anyway, like realistically, it was 2011, maybe 2010, 11, 12. I was pretty young, like I was a kid, and like everyone in Dharan where I did my like schooling was on that app. It was like a social media app. You could use it in like one of those old Nokia phones, right? And then we used to have like chat rooms. People used to talk on it all the time, right? And then that's where like I just like I'm a talkative person. I used to go on there, just like spend my whole day just talking to random people, and then that's where I used to meet girls that I started talking to more, and then meet in person. So the same time, like nothing serious really happens. At that time, you're just holding hands and going to a cafe or something. So I don't know if that's considered a date. I would consider that a date.
Wait, that's still boring.
That's still boring. Okay, I'll end this on like one funny kind of funny. Not, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it becomes funny. So this was a year ago. I met this girl on I want to say Hinge or Bumble. I don't remember. So I was like, I haven't dated anyone for a while. So I was like, whatever, right? Got the apps, matched with someone, went on a date in a restaurant in Berkeley. And then, she was sweet at first, and then she started talking. And then I asked her, like, what does he do? Right. And then she was like, I'm studying at Haas School of Business in UC Berkeley. And then, like, the thing is, I study in Haas School of Business. I study in Haas. So I know everyone who studies in Haas. Like, it's a small class. It's a class of 250 people. And I kind of, at that point, I knew everyone. So I know for sure that she doesn't go to Haas. Right?
Okay.
So I'm like sitting there. I don't tell her that I go to Haas, but I know it's in my profile. Like, it's in my dating profile. So she must know that I go there. But why would, like, I'm like super confused, right? So I keep asking follow-up questions, right? And then, like, everything she says is a lie, right?
Online.
No. Like I asked follow-up questions. Like, I was like, when did you start? She's like, started in September. And I'm like, classes start in August. What are you talking about? And like, I could tell in the next couple minutes that she definitely doesn't go to Haas. I know she's lying. And then I asked her about other things, and then everything sounds like a lie. So that's the answer to, like, your question about, like, okay, I'm definitely not going on a second date with this girl again.
Yes.
It's still boring.
Funny though.
That,
It's kind of funny.
I also have one last thing to say. Pineapple on pizza.
How can we cut this out in the post-production?
They edit it out.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, like, share, subscribe, and follow Bisag on Instagram.
Yeah.